Okay, so this is my neighbor Mark here. And I just wanted to let everybody know Mark has been showing me how to butcher chickens today. But since he's the master for the camera, he's going to do a better job than I've been doing today. So I'm going to let him go ahead and explain how to go ahead and butcher the chicken. So go ahead, Mark.
Alright, the first thing we're going to do, first cut's going to be the base of the neck here. And the reason we're doing this is we want to expose the crop. Just made a small incision here. Now I'm going to pinch it, basically fillet the skin back, expose the trachea, the esophagus, and then right here, this big piece right here, this is the crop right here.
And the crop is where the food actually is, correct?
Yes, enters the crop first. So I'm going to try not to cut this open because it's obviously full of food. So
what happens if you cut the crop open?
You got a mess.
And possibly contaminated meat, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, looks like I might just have nicked it there. I did.
Oh yeah, I see a little hole there on the side right there. There's a little teeny hole. So if it's obviously if it's leaking out on the outside, that's not as much of a problem.
Not as much as a problem, but trying to get some of these small membranes out of the way so I can see it better. Kind of cut around it here.
That crop is really full. Now I actually took the feed away from the birds last night. So it's been almost 24 hours since they've had feed. So I don't know what the heck she was eating, but she obviously found something out there that she was filling up on. So
I'm just going to try and separate it from the breast here. The outside skin is what's tough to get through. The membrane, you can kind of just pull it apart. It's starting to leak out a little bit there, so. Alright, just going to cut this membrane here. Here's the trachea tube. And here we have the esophagus. This other tube here. Alright, so I'm going to try and remove this crop here.
she found some bugs or something out in the pasture.
Alright, so
okay, so we got the crop.
Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just remove all this excess skin here, get it out of the way. Alright, so now what I want to do is actually remove the neck. We're going to do that kind of like with the head. We're going to cut around right at the base of the neck here where it meets the back. We're just going to cut the tendons and meat all the way around. You'll know when you hit the bone because you can feel the resistance with your knife. I'm going to try and twist it off here, just like that.
And the necks you can use, correct?
Yes, you can. I actually will be keeping all the necks and the feet and make a chicken broth out of it. Alright. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove these feet. Same with the neck, we're just going to cut the skin around. Very carefully, of course. Kind of twist it and pull it back and forth, and then we're going to get to the tendons and then actually remove them. Just like so. There's the feet, and the neck we're going to save for soup. Alright. So now we're we're on to actually getting to the guts. I'm going to pinch the skin here, right above the anus, which is right here. I'm going to make an incision right here. I'm going to pinch and pull up pretty hard. Take your time. I'm going to get through the skin layer and the fat layer. She hasn't much fat on her, so we're actually getting right to the membrane. As soon as you get that membrane open, it's a nice small cut like that.
And the reason you want to be careful is because if you cut those intestines...
Yep, more contaminated meat, and what a mess.
Yeah.
So we're going to stick our fingers in there and kind of pull it apart. Just like so. I actually pull the guts out. And I have the bird on its back. We're going to stick our fingers straight in. Kind of, you'll feel lots of membranes and stuff in there. You want to be pulling it out of the way as you're putting your hands down in there. Basically get all the way down to where you get to your fingers down inside the neck right here. Just kind of push down a little bit with your fingers. Kind of pull everything out. Just like so.
So you can see the intestines look pretty full.
Pretty full. There's the gizzard right there.
Yeah. And there's
intestines and
liver.
Here's the livers.
And the heart is
heart.
Right there, yeah.
Which we'll be saving as well.
And you were telling me that you really like to eat the heart.
The heart is actually my favorite part of the chicken. So I'm going to save the heart. And I'll save the livers as well.
And how do you cook those the hearts?
I like to just fry them with a little bit of butter on a frying pan.
Okay.
Sometimes if they're small like that, you just do it whole. If you got a bigger heart, like the male we did earlier, the rooster had a heart about twice the size of that. I'll probably cut that heart in half.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Now with the livers here,
there's the gallbladder.
We got the gallbladder. But I want to try and cut around it because I don't really want to cut into it when I'm getting this liver here. So.
Because if you cut the gallbladder, it'll bleed onto it and contaminate the liver, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave a little bit that the gallbladder is attached to.
Okay.
And just take that piece there. So.
And it's one thing about butchering your own birds is you would never be able to get the heart at the store, I don't think.
Yeah,
I've never seen them for sale.
I don't think they sell them at the store. All right. So what I'm going to do now is
let's take a look inside the bird so you can see what it looks like at this point. So. The only thing you can see the bright red, which is the lungs, correct?
Yeah, the bright red is the lungs right here. And we'll get to that in a second here.
Okay.
The next thing I want to do is actually move the guts out of the way. And I want to cut around the anus here. Try not to cut into that intestine so we don't have a mess.
Did we forget to do the oil gland?
Yeah, we did, but we can get to that.
Okay.
Two incisions down the sides here. And I'm going to try and make a cut underneath of it. Alright, and we finish the cut here. There it is.
So we were supposed to actually do the oil gland. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal, but I guess we're supposed to do that before.
It's not a huge deal. I mean, do it whenever, I guess, but
so,
this chicken's so small,
so that's
cut it right off.
Okay.
The oil gland is actually underneath here. On a bigger bird, it's easier to do with this bird so small. You'd pinch it here and make your cut up underneath this little pad here, and then this is going to be the gland right here you want to cut off.
That seems just as easy to do it that way.
Yeah, well, she's so small that it's easier to do. Alright, so next we're going to do is remove these lungs. They make this tool you can put your hose onto. It shoots water out here as you're doing it, but...
Let's see, the claws there on that thing?
Yeah, the claws on there.
Okay, so that's going to scrape the lungs out, right?
Yeah, we're just going to clean her and scrape the lungs out. Pretty easy to do. There's one. This other one has the trachea tube connected to it. It just popped off, but... There's number 2. Pull that trachea out now.
Lungs are pretty neat, nice and bright pink. There's the trachea.
Yep, that's pretty much it. We're going to rinse her out real good and stick her in our cooler with ice.
Alright, so is she ready, or you have a couple little pin feathers to pull?
Yeah, she's probably about ready, but alright, I think we'll call her done. Stick her in with the other ones. I actually put my hearts and livers in a separate bag. Put those in there. And put those up for later. There we go.